Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. The big question I've been asked over the last 24 hours is why the market is dropping. Why is crypto dropping? Why is Bitcoin dropping? Why is altcoins getting smashed? The stock market looks a little bit weak before the open today. We're going to look at to answer those questions and a whole bunch more and what I see coming up. But of course, before we do that, smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people and does help support the channel, as does your amazing comments that you leave. Thank you so much. You take the time to write them. I take the time to read them. Those of you who ask questions, I do get back to you as soon as I am able to. However, if you'd like more immediate engagement and interaction with me, find me in the Stocks with Josh Discord. The links are below. I have my own Crown Traders channel in there where I share education, insights, resources, some of my trade setups, shared a couple in there just before I got on, as well as entertainment, because this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? And also, of course, I have my own Discord coming up. I am still going to be in the Stocks with Josh Discord, but I'm opening up a much smaller, by design, capped number of people that will be able to. How do you get a chance to get on that Discord? There's an email address below in the description. Make sure you email me saying, yes, I would like to be on the wait list. If you've done a one-on-one training with me, you have an exemption. So you can email me, claim your exemption, and you get automatic access to that Discord. Again, the email address is below in the description. I'll be launching in the coming weeks. Okay, so let's look at some of the news and what has been what I think the reason why we've seen a bit of a sell-off. And there's a couple of reasons. Firstly is the DeepSeek making the market sell off, a worse excuse than the unwind of the yen carry trade. Okay, so I would say that, yeah, so DeepSeek is AI coming out of China, and it has apparently only cost $6 million and took less to buy and didn't need all the expensive infrastructure. And apparently it beat one of the other AIs in a math problem or whatever. So it's sending the markets into a bit of a frenzy. I think that's what we see with stocks. I think there's a bit of a flow on for Bitcoin. But however, I would also say is that we do have some big events, and maybe some of these events are starting to be a little bit priced in. For example, we have the Bank of Japan minutes. Now, they did raise the interest rates, and I did say that this could create a little bit of a sell-off. So I think in part some of the sell-off is, yes, some of that continuing to unwind, because people who borrowed money from the Bank of Japan, they borrowed the yen to use in the stock markets, crypto markets, and other foreign markets. They now are realizing that money is no longer free to borrow. It's now at 50 basis points. And when the Bank of Japan minutes come out, if they say there are going to be further rate hikes, or they're thinking of it, or possibly that could certainly cause more panic in the markets and more sell-off as people remove their money from the markets. I would also say, secondly, we have the FOMC meeting coming up, their rate hike decision expected to stay the same. Of course, there could be a curveball because the president is pressuring them to cut rates. Will they go along with the current president, or will they stay and just hold the rates? But I think what more people are afraid of is Jerome Powell speaking again, because last time he spoke, the market was fine after the rate decision, but when he spoke, he absolutely crashed the markets in December. It did end up being a good buy the dip opportunity, by the way, but still people are selling and then getting out of it. And I believe we also have the Bank of China rate decision as well this week, probably who knows what's going to come out in the news. It seems like there's a narrative that seems to move the markets, okay? So I would say I would go along to that. So I would think that a lot of this is starting to be priced in. People are fearful. People are wondering how the market's going to react to the Bank of Japan minutes, the FOMC meeting, the Bank of China, other economic news that may come out. I will be saying that historically, Super Bowl Sunday has been a pretty good indicator as to what happens next in the market, usually around then or after then. You know, last cycle, obviously alts started to take off because people are talking to their friends and their buddies about all the gains that they've made and how these coins are now in a bargain cheap and ready to buy. And I remember that from last Super Bowl Sunday, somebody showing me Dogecoin was still very, very low at the time. So I did buy some and made a good amount of money on Dogecoin. I think it was around a few cents come Super Bowl Sunday. Not quite sure. I would have to check that, but it was a lot lower than when I sold it for, which when it rated to its all-time high up around that 60 or 70 cent mark there. Okay, so these are the things that I've kind of been thinking about. You can see Bitcoin archive, every bull market topped within 330 days of breaking the previous cycle's all-time high. We're now at 315 days. Does that mean that the bull market's going to be over in 15 days? I don't believe so, because Bitcoin did reach its all-time high sooner. However, you must always consider that it's possible. You must always consider, you can never say never. You must always consider that 109 was the top. You must always consider, do I think the bull market is over? Absolutely, I do not think so. Do I think it's possible? Absolutely do think it's possible, but I think that percentage is somewhere between 1% to 3% that the bull market has finished. But that's an interesting metric, and for those of you who do think the bull market is over, that would be something to support your thesis. But that's about the only bull market top signal that is in range at the moment. Everything else has not fired off or is not even close to being fired off. I follow about 6 or 7 metrics. I did do a video called Bitcoin Top Signals. Please check that out, and you'll see the metrics that I'm following and looking at to keep an eye on the markets, okay? Now, also, I would say that, of course, we haven't had that big January drop yet, although we saw between December and January almost 20%, so some could consider that. The drop in January has been less than 10% itself, like about 9%. So that's a possibility that still plays out, and we have some really big catalysts coming up. Not only do we have the DeepSeek stuff that's kind of causing the markets to sell off in fear and panic, but also there is those 3 economic events that could cause further downside. So I think this is partially starting to be priced in, and we might get to these events and may not get as big a dip because we're kind of getting a little bit of a one now. But let's look at the markets here. And I did say to you, look, I keep teaching on this channel. I'll keep saying it. If you aren't selling here, why not? You know, this is clear. I made this line yellow for everybody. It's a double Fibonacci. I told everybody that there would be strong resistance there. Look at these bearish wicks. You got 2 of them. You got 2 opportunities to sell this. And if you didn't, why not? Because we went all the way back down to, 90, the low 90s. How do you find success in the market? Be fearful when others are greedy. Sell the greed. I'm selling into this. I'm buying into this. Selling into this, buying into this, okay? You got a second chance. You got a second chance to do it. If you didn't sell here and you didn't sell here, then you have to seriously reevaluate your trading strategy, okay? Because so many times I'm getting questions about this coin or that coin, because remember, Bitcoin, when it's pumping up here, usually alts are doing quite good. No, slap yourself, sit down, tie your hands behind your chair, okay, for buying green candles. For selling green candles, yes, get in there and sell those green candles, take those profits. This is a trader's market. I did an important video last week. I did another one on the Stocks with Josh video. We talked about how this is right now not an investor's market. It's a trader's market where you buy down here, you sell up here, you buy down here, you sell up there. We'll look at the yellow brick road in a moment and see why. Now, where could we come to do the downside? Okay, now obviously I told everybody there was liquidation levels down there at 100K, and I expected them to be got, and they did. Just like I said, there were liquidations levels up at 109, 108, and I felt they'd be got, and they did. Just like I said it back here, okay? Now we've got the tribal trades trend line, the one line to rule them all. And of course, where did it stop? It stopped at the tribal trades trend line, which just happens to be, I drew this trend line a while ago, many weeks ago, maybe months ago. I can't remember how far that actually goes back. It goes back a fair way. But here's the deal, but there's also a Fibonacci. There's also a key EMA that is also there as well. Right, so as we see here, we have the next cab off the rack. If we lose this 97,800, key level, then we're going to come back, in my opinion, back to the middle of, so we've lost this range. We were trading in, and this is a bit of a double top, by the way, so that's another concern. That is bearish, okay, on that. We also have bearish divergence, by the way, because in the RSI, and I pointed all these things out. We had a high, and the RSI was there, and then we've had a higher high, and the RSI is low, bearish divergence, okay? Not rocket science. So if we do come down any further, obviously this is starting to play out, the bearish divergence. We've got a double top, we've got bearish divergence. We've lost this range, the 100 to the 109K, we've lost it, it's gone. Well, it's not actually, it's 99,334. So we have lost that range. So we're below the range that we were trading, and we're back into the previous range. Now, we might just have a deviation here. This could be. So the good news is maybe we just have a deviation inside and below, and then we come back and start trading in that range again. That's number one, possibly. Number two is we have a more severe correction, and we have two deviations here, a little mini one here as well. That would be quite bearish, in my opinion. We could send this down to the 95, which is the middle of the previous range. So mark that down. Then we have 92,900, which is a double Fibonacci yellow line, just like we're at here, double Fibonacci through my Fibonacci stacking method, which I teach on my cheat sheet education section, and the double Fibonacci at 108. Then we have the bottom of the range, which is coming in at 90,600. So we got 90. So if we lose 97,900, then I'm looking at 95. If we lose 95, we're looking at that 92,800. Then we have the 100 simple moving average coming at 91,576, the bottom of the range at 90,000. But then there's quite a significant drop down to the 200 EMA on the daily, which is 81,800. Now, of course, there is a massive amount of support below. Before we even get that, there is this Fibonacci level here, which held last time, 88,000. And I actually only got to 89,000, a big Lux Algo order block there as well. Let's look at the liquidation levels. And of course, if we move back to the upside, we've got the 100,000 to get above, and then the 104, 105, and then back to the 108 there. I'm still sticking with February, new all-time high, and 120K Bitcoin. I haven't given up on that. I think that's the higher probability. We always have to consider other probabilities. So there's more to the upside. We follow the yellow brick road. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And has this been the most accurate metric to follow when you're in a ranging market? It seems to be. On the 12-hour, it's above, but we do have some below. Be warned at 98, okay? We do the 24-hour we just looked at, pretty much the same thing. Above, we have 103 and 104. On the 48 hours, just quickly moving through here, we have 106 to the upside. So I would at some point believe that this is going to come and get tagged, and that liquidity is going to come and get taken. Doesn't mean that we can't see some downside first if we move to the 3-day, but you are seeing that most of the liquidity to the upside there, again at 106, and then we can go up to 107. Let's look at the weekly and a couple of others, and then we're going to wrap this up. Then we have 154 million at 107 on the weekly. So you can see there has been a really big liquidation hunt to the downside. And then boy, oh boy, if you look on the monthly time frame, there is a lot. There's probably close to 500 million or more up there, up around that 107 to 110,000 region. But be warned, there is some liquidity, 153 million at 96, and then there is 124 million down at 90,000. Boy, that would be some drop. That might get left behind. We will see, but it wouldn't surprise me if we came and picked up this 96,000 level, even if there's a wick to come and grab all this liquidity just here. We'll look at one more, and then we're going to wrap this up on the 3-month time frame there. As you can see, there is not a lot more. There's that big drop. There's a big $96,000 level there as well. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the show today. And until the next episode, happy trading.